Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I want to talk about my recent situations. So this past week, I was negotiating contracts for next semester. I teach at a community college, and I noticed a significant dynamic change. So first, I got myself in some pretty good social groups, and I was worried that I would get schedules that wouldn't work with that. And I thought about how I would say these things. Also, I recently met somebody, another long distance relationship, if you can believe it, and I'm thinking of traveling to Texas to go see her, and also just generally, right, thoughts of my career and all that. And I go through this every 6 months, every year, whatever it is that I have to negotiate the contract. But something different happened this time around. I have more connections right now. I'm living in a house, shared house, with a few roommates that I know and trust. They're not perfect roommates, but they're better than the unknown, right? Let's put it that way. And okay, that's the first thing that's different. I'm a lot more financially better off than I was 6 months or certainly a year earlier, and more connections. And but there's things that I want to be connected to nowadays. 6 months ago, a year ago, I didn't really think that my schedule would be pigeonholed. I really didn't travel all that much, right? So it's a trade-off. One thing I noticed is that because I am financially better off and because I have resources from my connections, like being able to find roommates on a dime like that, I find that I'm a lot less fearful at work. Right? I go into a negotiation and fearlessly ask for days off, fearlessly ask for schedules that work with me. A year ago, I didn't have the luxury of doing that. I didn't have a lot of financial backing. I didn't have connections, and I was scared half the time, right? And One thing I suck at is a lot of my students lie to me all the time, probably, right? Because statistically, the number of students that are getting COVID or grandparents passing away or whatever situation they want to bring up. Statistically, I know that I have to trust each one as they come, but statistically, I know a lot of my students are lying to me, right? It's just a mathematical, the probability of all of those being true is probably worse than winning. It's probably worse than all of my bismuth disintegrating into gold overnight, right? Probably not that bad, but you get the idea, right? But I suck at lying. Even when I tell the truth, I suck at it. I bet a lot of my students probably didn't believe my grandmother passed away, right? They probably think I only said it so that I could tell these beautiful stories about how my grandmother gave me all this good fortune. Or go watch those stories, but those are true stories, right? Um, but I suck. But I learned that if I dress up a lie in a way that even I believe it, then I'm not so bad anymore, right? So, for example, if I need to take time off to go on a date, I say it's a family event because in my mind it kind of is, right? I'm looking for future family, right? In my mind, it doesn't seem like I'm lying anymore, right? I'm just dressing it up now, right? It's kind of like you might. On your resume, you might describe your job in a little bit more detail than you would describe it to a friend, right? It kind of just feels like that when I do it that way, right? Um, and But I have more connections. I'm also a lot less desperate. One thing I've noticed is I gotta be careful about doing this. I've been binge watching a lot about good ways to build rapport when you ask a girl out on the first date, and I noticed that it's not very different from how you interact with. Those are all good ideas for interacting with general people, and sometimes I get myself confused and I get myself attached to colleagues, to students. And one day, one of my students was I had apologized to her because she showed up a little bit early for office hours. And I was munching away on celery, and so she thought that was a good idea. But I was eating celery for a very different reason than why she wanted to eat celery. She wanted to lose weight. It's kind of funny because I told her, you know what, losing weight is only a side effect of eating the celery. and I explained to her how it had some benefits of smelling attractive and all that, and she thought that was bullshit. But she's gonna take up the celery. Before I knew it, she was eating a lot of celery too, and she was swearing to me that it doesn't work, And I said, you know what? But I like it, and let's just do it for what it is. And she all the while she's telling me it doesn't work. She's hanging around my office talking to me about all her plans during the weekend and all that. And I really have to bite my lips. Really, it doesn't work. And so I got really good rapport with all my students now, in large part because of all the practice that I've been having to do with binge watching of these dating tips. And it's kind of funny. We're coming up to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl last year was kind of a wake up call that I needed to return to the dating scene. I was my head was in my Bismuth art career and my job at the community college, and I was like, gee, I need somebody to cheer me up like that too. And then I went to see the solar eclipse, and didn't have anybody to drive with. That was a painful trip too. So I think those were two pivotal moments. And then I had some twists and turns, and here I am now. All right, continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.